right, now we're cooking.
Username, some guy on a scooter.
All right, that was all practice. That's okay.
All right, and we're live. Scootagang, round 3, stream number 3. Okay, let me say hi.
Yeah, you can kick it off for YouTube.
Hey guys, welcome in. We got another live stream today with the best scooters in the world, best scooters on the market. I can say that confidently. We got Gspace in the house. This one has a beautiful chameleon paint job. And this one we got with all the accessories and all the goodies. Most importantly, we got, I'm Jordan Moves, hi. Most importantly, we got Scootagang in the house. Gonna let you guys know about this awesome deal going on for one more day only. And if you guys have any questions about the scooters, why this is a good deal, I'm excited. Gonna get it going. So wait for people to join this time. We had a little bit of not a technical difficulty, but we didn't make the live public. So now we'll get it going once everyone's in here.
Yo, Shane, what's up? Hello, YouTube. We were trying to do this like for 20 minutes and it was glitched. We were talking to ourselves, so we got it figured out. We got it on. Let's go.
Anyone else in the house?
Yeah.
Joining now?
All right. It looks like it's working. It says we got 5 people now. Let's go.
Right.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah. I just wanted to say hi.
Go follow Jordan Moves. If you guys buy this scooter, she's gonna be riding it all next year. This is gonna be Jordan's scooter, I think, here.
Yeah.
With the purple once I get the new one. But welcome back, everybody. Looks good. You can see the TV behind me.
Yeah, it looks great.
Perfect.
Welcome in, everyone.
Now we're cooking. Let's go. I think we'll get started here. Can I get
I want to text my mom and tell her live. She wanted to watch you yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you can text her quick before we start. Hope everybody's having a great day. Thank you.
Hey guys, what's up? Gang.
So if you guys were around yesterday, we did 2 live streams that went pretty well. I think we answered a lot of questions, and I'm happy to do that again today. But we're going to do a slightly different format today, where we're going to talk about 6 talking points before I take questions at the end. So we're going to go over this, a few things that Gspace wanted me to go over, but I know you're going to like all of these topics, and it's going to teach you a lot about the scooter and my opinion of it. So let's just hop right into it. I think the first thing that they really wanted me to talk about, and they think this is the most important, is comparing this with the other scooter brands on the market that are direct competitors to this. So we're going to compare this with the Cabo King GTR, the Huga Daytona, and the Teveron 7260R. So each of those is extremely fast, has super long range, and so it all comes down to me how the scooter rides and the ride quality. And a lot of those aspects are so hard to figure out when you're looking at a scooter on a page, but the second you get on these and ride them, you instantly feel the difference in quality and ride quality. And specifically to me, I think there's a big difference between scooters with these front forks, dual front forks, and scooters that have what's called a C-type suspension like this. And so when I compare even the Huga and the Teveron to something like the Mars here, they're just inherently wobbly because of the way they're designed with that type of suspension. And the reason I say that is because this type of suspension has been phased out of motorcycles a long time ago. And it's the type of suspension that had a lot of dangerous wrecks because of speed wobbles. and they figured out a long time ago that the superior suspension is front forks, and that's why all modern motorcycles you will find are made like this with a similar front fork setup, and that to me eliminates the last two scooters, but they also have a few problems of their own. The Huga, I don't know why, but they put a metal spine down the middle of it that is directly where your foot goes. So I don't know where you're supposed to put your front foot on that scooter when you're riding it. So if you have that scooter, let me know in the comments if that's an issue for you. Um, it also is a bit more money when you compare the price of those. It's $3,700 for the Huga right now, and it's $4K for the Tevron. So they're quite a lot more money when you think about it versus 3K, and that all adds up when it's more money and it doesn't ride as well and it's more wobbly. To me, just thinking that this is the superior scooter. Now the Cabo is the closest, I would say, as a competition to this, because it does have the dual front forks, so it's going to be a lot less wobbly. And the only issue I have with that scooter is the quality of it, but also the 7-inch rim. So that scooter only has a very select few tires that you can fit on it, and none of them are premium. They're all low-grade bias ply tires. But this scooter, since it's a standard rim, you can fit any good tire on it. Let me show you quick. These are the tires I prefer the most. They're called PMTs. This is a slick. This is my favorite tire ever made, ever, the best. This is called a Stradale. It's basically the same tire but with tread. And these tires have the best grip. So what that gives you is better stopping, better acceleration, better cornering. In addition, they have a flexible sidewall here, you can see. So what that means is that this will also absorb a lot more road imperfections versus the stock tires. So on the Wolf, you're gonna have, not the Wolf, it's not even called that anymore. It's called the Cabo King GTR Max or whatever. On the Cabo, you're just gonna have an inferior ride because you're gonna have bias ply tires that are hard as a rock. You have to blow them up to 50 psi, and it's not ideal to just only have those stock tires. If you're buying a $3,000 or $4,000 machine, you want to be able to put the best tires on it that you can, especially if you're going fast on the road, because it really makes a difference in how safe it is. So I think that's the main reason for the Cabo is it can't fit the tires, but also the quality. I said the quality of Cabo has been going downhill lately, and they really were great scooters. I will tell you that. Excuse you, bless you. They were great scooters when 5 years ago, even, but they were using mini motors, controllers, and electronics. So at one point they switched to their own, and things kind of got a little bit less quality, a lot less quality actually. And now there's just known electrical gremlins all over those scooters. You'll have problems through the wiring of your motor wires and your hall sensor wires, where they're going to end up with just a lot of like intermittent power issues. And it's so hard to diagnose and fix it. I actually have one in my garage that I own that it's been sitting there for a year because I'm just such a pain in the butt to fix it. And to buy new motors, it's $400 a motor, and it's ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous to have a scooter that the wiring goes out after a year or two, and you have to replace like a crazy amount of stuff, especially for people that don't know what to do about that. Like, if you take it to a shop, they're going to charge you a lot to do that type of repair if they're actually going to fix it. They might just look at it and say, I don't know. You know, that's a lot of places will probably not be able to even fix it. So it becomes a quality thing. Whereas with this, I think the quality of this is off the charts. Out of all the people I've recommended this to this year, I think none of them really. There's one guy that's having an issue right now with a motor and a controller going out, but I'm going to FaceTime him when he gets the parts and help him walk him through what to do. I think a lot of people think it's way harder than it is to put a new motor on, but you should be able to knock it out in an hour or two, or take it to a shop that can do it in an hour or two. I think that the repairs on this will be minimal though, because the build quality is so good that it's a rare person that has that type of issue. And yeah. Our next talking point is
I'd say just check the comments too, so you can just say hey to people.
sure. Was there any questions about though
Yeah, we'll
the
do questions
comparisons?
at the end, guys. Yes.
Well,
this
any
is
questions
live.
about the comparisons I just made, or not? Otherwise, we'll go to the next talking point.
Not really.
Okay.
There's one interesting question, but I can bring it up later.
Okay. One thing I didn't talk about yesterday is the fire extinguisher. So I forgot I was going to grab one. I have an extra one I was going to show you guys, but it's a little box about like this big that's inside the scooter. And it has 2 sensors on it coming off so that you can basically, if there's any problem with the battery and it goes into what's called thermal runaway, which is where one of the cells shorts out and it'll basically short out and potentially explode or have a fire, right? We've all seen videos of that when it happens. It's crazy. It's about 1 in a million chance that they say that that'll happen to you if you own one of these batteries. So the odds are super low. But this does have a fire extinguisher that will sense it the moment that the battery starts getting over a certain temperature, and it's going to release anti-fire retardant in there, and it has a blow-off valve on the side too to release any of that pressure so that hopefully this scooter will be one that doesn't explode. Like you see a lot of other ones explode. You would hope that this would be one where it's going to be somewhat suppressed and slowed down, and you'll have time to get it if it's in your apartment or whatever, or your garage, time to get it out if you're there. It's the thing where hopefully it will stop anything crazy from happening, a backup insurance plan. And in addition to that, it has better fuses than a lot of scooters. You look at some scooters don't even use fuses these days. It's crazy. But this has sufficient fusing with really good wiring, and it has a big thermal pad under the battery, which I've opened hundreds of scooters at this point. Trust me, none of them use a thermal pad under the battery, which is stupid because if the battery gets heat, where's it going to go? It's just nowhere for it to go unless you have a proper thermal pad under it. So the whole battery is actually the heat's going through the frame, and then there's the fire extinguishers and the fuses. It just really makes this battery a lot safer and this scooter a lot safer than most other scooters. They get super hot. If you guys don't know, when you go ripping fast for a long time on a hot day, the scooter gets hot, the motors get super hot, the battery gets really hot, and all of that matters. If there's no thermal pad and improper wiring, you're going to end up with problems really quick. So I've rode this through the hottest days of the year as fast as I could and never had problems, and I think it's built to last as far as the wiring and everything seems. So that's the main thing about that talking point, was safety and the aspects that they put in to consider your safety with the battery and everything.
I'd say go on live on my phone, and like you could switch back and forth from the talking points just so you can kind of see.
Okay.
In here, people are just because people are saying hi to you. Hey guys,
Yeah, I
we're
agree.
hanging out all day, trying to get as many people the best deal as we can. Hook them up with this awesome scooter.
Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up the comments.
I'm glad.
You don't want to read them out like yesterday?
I'll read them out too. This one interesting question. G-Man said, "Hey gang, I thought about your response to my comment yesterday. However, decided to go with the Highly Supra. Not familiar with that. Couldn't see the $800 price being worth it. I figured you would know the difference."
We're gonna skip that question if you already bought a scooter.
Yeah. Gspace is better.
Putting a motor on is so easy a caveman can do it. I wouldn't say it's that easy to put a new motor on, but it's pretty easy. It's an hour or two if you have tools. Where does Gspace source their motors and controllers, or do they make them in-house? That's a good question. I think that they're made in-house, but I'll double check on all of that. Like, pretty sure everything's made in-house on this scooter from what I understand.
Didn't they used to be a battery company before?
Right. They started as a battery company, and I think in 2017, 2018, they branched off into starting to design scooters. So they've designed the Mars series now, and then they have the Venus series too, which is a smaller, more portable one. I reviewed it. It's also known as the Splash, and a couple other brands that sell it, but I like these better. They're much more suitable for full-size adults who want to go fast. So
Yeah. These are the best for going fast.
hi, that guy. Oh wow, that 2J guy. Couldn't tongue twisted.
But yeah,
Is that Jordan? Yeah, that's Jordan. What's up, Milk?
I figured you'd like to see the vibe. Guys.
It's not that easy for people who don't have tools or non-mechanical minded. I agree if you're mechanically like struggle or whatever the term would be, you know, I wouldn't attempt it. But probably you know somebody that can help you do it. It's not that bad. All right, let's hop to the next point here. They want me to mention all of the upgrades. So there is one, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
Damn.
No, one, two, three, four, five, six upgrades so far for this scooter. So we'll just go over all those really quick. The first one being the seat and the storage box. So this is actually separate. You can just buy the seat if you don't want the back. It actually looks kind of cool without the back on it, but it rides it better, I think, with the back on it because it says cushions here. It comes with the cargo box that could fit basically like 3 gallons of milk, I'd say. Quite a bit of groceries. And we've been riding around with the chain in it. So if we need to lock this up, or with this pillow that's a donut in case the cops pull us over to give them a nice gift. But in general, the seat is super nice, and a version 2 just came out that's going to have, well, I should say it has some brackets that go around the bottom of the scooter. So you don't have to put it in the deck anymore or undo anything else. All you do is put it on and then put the brackets on. So that should be superior and hold better and work better and be quicker to put on and off if you want to remove it or put it on back on. They say it takes 3 minutes now to put it on and off. So that's pretty good. Comes with these foot pegs, all part of the kit, one on both sides that flip in and out, and they have an extra support all down here so they're not going to bend. You can put your full weight on those when you're going over bumps and stuff. It really helps. It also comes with a new crossbar here that you can lower down. Obviously this one's up all the way here, but this one moved down to your height preference. And you can also flip it around the other way and have the handlebars farther away from you if you want. I have it on the close side right now, but either way works. The only thing it didn't come with is this windscreen. This was 20 bucks on Amazon though, so you could add that if you want. And I think it makes it look really nice with everything. But that's the seat kit, so that's one of the upgrades. Let's check the other upgrades. I'm just going to read them off the list so I don't forget any. The 4-piston calipers. So these come with nut 2 pistons on them stock. That's something that you can change out pretty easily. I assume they're going to use the same hose even, so you can just swap the caliper at the bottom when you do. If you do want to upgrade it, you don't have to swap the whole line and the. Maybe I'll double check on that too. I'm not sure, but it should be compatible. But that's going to give you a lot better stopping power. And if you live in an area like me, where Iowa, it's not very hilly, and I'm not very heavy, I'm only 200 pounds, then these seem to be perfectly fine for me. But if you're a heavier person and you live in a hilly area, you're going to want the upgraded brakes just so that they don't overheat so much because you're going to have more stopping power. And perfect timing. You just heard the inverter kick on. This is probably my favorite upgrade now after today. The last 2 days, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but the power has been cutting in and out here. Went out for an hour last night, we didn't have electricity, and then today for 3 hours we didn't have electricity. But this thing can run the whole stream if we needed to, and right now it's running the Christmas tree and the TV right now, both off of the scooter battery. So this thing, it could cook food for you if you hook it up to an appliance or something. I think it's 1,500 watts. And really, when you think about what this is, it's crazy because you can go online right now and buy a 3,100 watt hour battery, standalone battery that does all this, that would, be a backup for you, a powerhouse, whatever they call them these days. And that's going to cost you several $1,000s. Versus this, all you have to do is add this little inverter and it turns the whole thing into an emergency power station. And luckily for us, we already had them inside when the power cut out. Really made it convenient. I was like, hey, let's just plug in the converter and start running the lights. Like all these lights would have been fine. We would have had plenty of power to run the whole stream just off one scooter. So that's a cool upgrade. I thought I would only ever use it for like camping, or something like that. But it has a real world use case. I realized in the last 24 hours when my power's cutting out that you can use it to charge things, charge all your stuff. We had like a splitter on it and we were charging probably 6 different things this morning just to make sure we'd be ready for all of this. So plenty of battery, barely uses any power. Like it'll run for probably 12 hours or 20 hours. Who knows the exact math? I would have to check the watts. It says right now we're only pulling 129 watts. So that would last the battery like 30 hours, 25 hours maybe by my math. That's a crazy amount of backup if your power goes out of your house, right? So that's really a good value. Another upgrade is the 12-inch tires. So they made this scooter with that in mind from the get-go, and you can tell because the 12-inch tire fits on it fine without any modification. Basically, it's the same size rim the tire will be, but it's going to be sticking farther out everywhere, right? So if there wasn't enough clearance, you'd have issues, and pretty much all other scooters like that, 11-inch scooter, the RS, I could never put a 12-inch tire on it because the mud guard is so close to the tire, it's like a tire hugger, right? So you end up having to fully modify so much to put a bigger tire on that, but this just fits. Just fits right on. You can fit a bigger tire and get a lot more off-roading capabilities. I think is the main advantage of that tire would be that you get less rolling resistance over off-roading obstacles because 1 inch really even makes a difference. You'd be surprised on off-roading. Couple more upgrades here. The handlebar riser I never mentioned yesterday. So if for taller people, I think anybody above 6 foot, you'll consider this. There's a little piece you can buy that goes right here and raises your handlebar up about 3 or 4 inches. I think that is something I don't think about ever because I'm so short. But all you tall people probably think about that all the time when before you buy one of these is, can you adjust the height? And yes, you can on this. You can make it better for tall people. And the last upgrade I haven't actually seen yet, but they say there's a new air spring shock coming. And shout out to Zero Love Scooters. He's been doing a lot of shock testing on YouTube if you follow him. And I think he's inspired Gspace to put in a better shock based on that. So they're going to have an upgraded air shock version where you can throw on the air shock and get improved damping, I'm assuming. Right now, it's good. I don't have any problems with the suspension on this scooter at all, but I do want to try an air shock. Why wouldn't I? You know, obviously. All right, that's all the upgrades. Do you guys have any questions about the upgrades now? I'm looking back at all the comments. Let me see if anybody said anything here. Nice. Drive safe, milk. LMAO at the donut. Yeah, I was going to make a great clip with that donut, but nobody ever pulled me over, you know? I figured it would take about 1 day with this donut to give it to some cop because this is like, I don't know, it's a weird laws we got going on with this type of thing where a scooter is like fine, but then the second you put a seat on it, some cops might give you an issue. So I don't know, but I never had a problem with it, and luckily I got away with no problems or anything, and I think you will too. You know, you just ride them safe and ride them smart, and you'll be good.
At SPRZ Spreeze 97 said it. So is that front grille only decorative? Seems like it would rattle.
No, it doesn't rattle at all.
Yeah.
And I think it is decorative, but I think what it really serves a purpose is as a bumper. So I actually rear-ended Scooter Kell when I was down in Houston this year. It was kind of, he stopped really quick without any warning, you know what I mean? Like kind of a spot that I wouldn't have stopped at, put it that way. And I just kissed my rear wheel on his rear, on my front wheel on his rear wheel, and went over the handlebars. I landed on my feet and everything. It wasn't even a wreck, but I dropped the scooter, right? And my grill got bent in a little bit. But I think without the grill, you would do other damage here. You know, you'd have a lot more damage, and that's sort of like just a cheap replaceable part where if it does get totally messed up somehow, you just get a new one. So I think it's good. It's almost like a bumper guard or a brush guard, maybe I'd call it, something like that. Oh, thank you, SPRZ. SPRZ says you may want to mention that if someone buys the motorcycle kit, they need to buy it separately to use the $50 off code. So the motorcycle kit I think is around $350 or $340 normally but you can get 50 bucks off if you use Scootagang 50 as the code instead of just Scootagang. That one right there, actually, Scootagang 50 will get you 50 bucks off of the seat kit itself. So you can get money off of, if you do it in 2 separate orders, I think you can get your Cyber Money deal, and you can get 50 bucks off the seat kit and
Yeah, only
save
one
some on
coupon
both
per
that
order.
way.
Yeah, only one coupon per order, so you
Yeah.
have to do 2 separate orders.
Thank you, SPRZ. And for anybody that hasn't figured that out yet, you can get the scooter on Gspace, Gspace's website. You just search Gspace and then put in the code Scootagang, and it'll give you the deal that's about 10% off of normal price. So I don't think we'll ever see a deal like this again. This is probably the best deal ever. There will be probably another flash sale next month around Christmas time, we're hoping. And we're going to have a bunch more creators hopefully join in and make this sort of like normal thing, hopefully. But I think the deal is not going to be this deal. It'll probably be a little bit higher. And, you know, this is the best time of year to get these. This is the one time of year that the brands are willing to give a super deal. And this is the best deal of the year on any scooter that's actually like a really good scooter. Like, this is one of the top scooters on the market, if you ask anybody. You ask me, I'd say it's the best. But if you ask anybody, they're going to tell you, yeah, it's probably one of the top 3 scooters, you know, depending how their preferences are. And it's cheapest right now. When you compare the price, this is $3K, $29.99, versus the, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, the Huga Daytona is $3,700 right now. I just checked before this. The Teveron is $4K, which is crazy in my opinion. That should be a bit cheaper for a single stem scooter like that. There's, you know, less metal going into it when you think about it. And the Cabo. So you can buy riser bars too. That's a good point. Even if you don't want to switch this piece, you can buy a handlebar that rises up like that. I've seen a lot of people do that too.
Hello to the Netherlands.
Ooh, the Netherlands.
For the love.
Nice. Q-Curren's great. We work a lot with Awesome here, and they're the same company. It's like their U.S. side of company, and they are excellent scooters. You're gonna love that Q-Curren. Let's see what the next thing they wanted me to talk about here was.
Basically, how much value they get for 3K.
Right. Oh, the last thing they want me to mention is the customer service. So a lot of people have been asking about that, and I think the main thing with the customer service, when you compare this with other brands, is that you get a direct response right away. And how do you get that? You can go on Facebook in the Facebook group. You can chat them directly, right, via Facebook Messenger, and also on WhatsApp is what I really recommend. You download WhatsApp, and you can literally have a conversation with either the owner or the managers, the people running the company that are going to help you right away. There's no sort of like back and forth nonsense. They're going to say, oh, this is the issue. All right, send me a little video. Here's your parts. You know, it's not going to be all this sort of like email thread that goes for weeks when you're just waiting, and they're like kicking it down the road nonstop. This is the opposite. I've never had anybody experience anything like that here. They're actually at the point where I would say they care about their customers, which is rare in the scooter game if you don't know that yet. A lot of these brands out here will sell you a scooter, and the second you got a problem, they're going to ghost you. That, or they're going to have some terrible warranty. I'm going to mention one warranty that I know is terrible here, and you can go look it up yourself. Go look up a Nanrobot N6 warranty, all right? This is a 72-volt scooter that is way underpriced of everything else, and people buy it because it's way cheaper. But you don't realize when you buy it that the warranty, it says 1-year limited warranty, and then you read the fine print, and out of the like 12 components listed, only one of them is for a year, and the rest of them are all for 3 or 6 months. So your warranty is so bad on that the second it breaks down at 7 months or whatever, you're going to be paying full price for parts. And the parts are not cheap, and they don't come quickly. So you end up having so much downtime that the scooter just instantly comes out as more expensive. The cheap comes out expensive. You never heard that saying in life, that when you buy the cheap, at the end of the day, it's going to add up more. So
buy it right or buy it twice, like my grandpa said.
exactly. This is one of those cases in the scooter industry where People get burned all the time by buying a cheap scooter that has a bad warranty, and within a short amount of months, they have just a paperweight on their hands, you know?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
If you're spending your hard-earned cash, you want it to last.
exactly.
And you deserve to be respected for the
See
money
if
you
we got
spend
any
on it.
questions up in here.
Gspace.
Nice, 23 people in here. Hello, everybody. I'm glad everybody's around. I sound like Ginger on Wheels. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I think he knows what he's talking about.
I think there's one question that at least I want to know the answer to. A couple people are asking about when they get it, if it's okay to store it in the box, and then also once you take it out of the box, talk about like the battery deterioration, like during, not the right word, during the winter though. You don't want to store it at 100%.
Yeah, and we're in the winter state here, so this is good information for anybody with any brand scooter. Usually you want to store them around 50%. Anywhere from 40 to 60 is kind of the rule of thumb. And I had these down at that level already. They're both sitting at like 72 volts right now. That's about half on a 84-volt scooter. And you want to keep it there because they'll last years at that state, right, in the middle. But if you have it on the extremes, either way, where it's fully charged or fully empty, then it's going to create damage to the battery potentially within a short amount of time. You know, a few months even can be short enough where you come back after the winter if your battery was dead and it's down at 12 volts and there's no way to fix it. And it becomes very expensive to change batteries out. It's the most expensive component there is on the scooter. So you really want to be conscious of that and take care of your battery health. That's what they call it. Make sure that you keep it in the middle. You can also charge up to only 80% or so, and that will prolong the health of your scooter as well if you don't charge it up full every time, depending how far you got to go. So there is certain things you can do to make the battery last longer. But this battery, like I mentioned earlier, Gspace is the manufacturer of their own batteries, so they have a higher standard of quality, and they even rate these batteries to 1,000 charge cycles. Most scooter batteries, crappy blue, random, generic ones that you see in every other scooter are rated to 500 charge cycles. So on this scooter, you're gonna get double the life of the battery as an equivalent generic battery that's made out, you know, wherever they make them. A lot of these brands outsource that. They don't make batteries. They'll just buy the battery, stick it in the scooter, and then sell you the scooter. This is just the opposite. They actually make the batteries in-house, and so you're getting a much higher spec battery from it.
Yeah, good point. So if the but they can, if the scooter shows up in the box, they can leave it in the box, right? Because it's in a storage state technically.
Yeah. If the scooter shows up for everybody that orders right now, you should be able to leave it in the box. I probably wouldn't recommend that for one reason only, is that if something gets damaged in shipping, Gspace is going to want to know right away so they can reimburse you. It's a little bit harder to like prove that it came from the shipping damage if you wait 6 months and open it next year and there's like something's bent or whatever. I still don't think they would argue you on it if, you know, you have the box sitting there and the thing's all perfectly brand new looking. But it's just kind of like, you know, standard procedure when you get something, especially that's this expensive, that's shipped that far, is to open it right away and make sure that everything came in perfectly how you want it. Because any little scratch or whatever, you know, you can email them a picture, and if it was damaged in shipping, you can get a replacement part sent out and make sure your scooter looks perfect when you get it. So I probably wouldn't recommend leaving it in the box over the winter, but the battery would be fine, you know. The battery wouldn't be an issue for it.
Yeah, we try to ride in the winter when we can too. We also wish every scooter had a built-in fire extinguisher.
Can I explain the T-Wing Mars? That 2J guy, yes. So there's actually going to be some news coming out about that in the next month or two, I'm told, that T-Wing is going to stop selling the XTR. So if you guys look at their website or whatever, and you see a T-Wing XTR, looks identical to this scooter, and it is identical minus the branding on it. Basically, they were the first distributor for Gspace. So 1 or 2 years ago, they signed a contract. They bought a bunch of scooters, got their name put on it, and then they started selling them in the US. Before Gspace was even in the US, they were one of the first people that brought the scooters here, introduced them. Several content creators got them and sort of pumped the market up a little bit and grew the market enough that it helped Gspace a lot. It's sort of like a win-win situation for them, for both companies that way, where the T-Wing can make some money for the next venture, which they did. Apparently, they're getting into a more expensive e-bike, electric dirt bike thing now in Europe, is what I'm told. So they're going to be selling other things, and that's good that they used the XTR to make funds for the business, essentially. And at the same time, Gspace is happy with that because it gets the scooter out in the market. It gets people to recognize it, gets people to test it out and ride it and get feedback and make it better and better. And now it's at the point where I think Gspace is going to take over everything here in the US now that they've officially sort of started selling here in the last year or so. And I think it's good to deal directly with the manufacturer at all times. And this is one of those cases where people that have been dealing with T-Wing haven't gotten the best customer service as compared to Gspace. And that could just be because Gspace is that great where nobody can compare to that type of service, where they're right on the end of a Facebook message or a WhatsApp message and responding to you within 5 hours. That's super fast, and most brands can't do that. So it could just be where T-Wing's average and it looks bad comparatively, but I don't know like the full story or any of that. All I know is that Gspace wants to continue going forward and handle all of the customer service and all of the warranty work and everything. And the XTR is not going to be sold for very much longer here once it sells out. So they may have a few units there still. If you want to buy it, go for it. But it is the exact same scooter, exactly the same. Both obviously good scooters if they're the same scooter, but you always got to consider the warranty and the customer service as part of the deal. And so that all factors in, hopefully, to all of your decisions buying it. Thanks, Scooter USA.
Last day for the deal. Exciting.
Vraxium. No, I haven't read your message at all. Dude, you're reading my message. Have to file a credit card dispute because I'm having issues with Gspace. What's wrong with your scooter that you need to send it back? Usually you don't send the scooter back, you just get parts.
Warranty refund he's having trouble with.
Warranty refund. Let me go back. They don't typically take a scooter back because that costs a lot of money to ship it. They'll send you parts and have you fix it usually. And I don't know about your specific situation, but you can feel free to text me or reach out to me or find me on Facebook or TikTok. You can message me, Instagram. YouTube doesn't have messaging, but everything else, reach out to me. I'm interested to hear what's going on. I will talk to them for you and advocate on your behalf. I don't want anybody to be unhappy with anything with Gspace or with this scooter, so just let me know. It's a little hard to deal with it right this minute, but I will get everybody behind on Gspace's side and figure out what's going on and try and fix the situation for you.
Yes, big dog. He does know his stuff.
3,500 miles on your Q-Grin. Let's go. Very nice. And now you upgraded. That's how it goes. Usually you put a good season, a year or two in it, and then it's time for the next one, right? I think a lot of people do that. This scooter's a little different where I could keep riding this next year and not feel like I'm missing out on anything. 2 years in a row, I would be happy with riding this.
Never heard you say that before.
Yeah.
Usually you
They
want
are coming with
every year.
They are coming out with the new one, so I will get the GS in March, hopefully a little before it's released to the public, and get some miles on it. But I'm always going to love this scooter too. This is an instant classic to me. Scooter's going to be iconic. The front motor broke after 250 miles. So could they send you a new motor? That's usually what they do. And when you mean broke, did it break like electronically or physically? Like did the rim crack or did the Hall sensors go out? It's usually one or the other.
people want to know like the specs, basically what they're getting.
So is that 2 weeks? Sure, I'll talk about the specs here next.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, if something breaks after 2 weeks, they're not going to take the scooter back. They're going to send you parts typically. That's for all brands. I don't know anybody that would take a 2-week-old scooter back and give a refund. Where are you located, Vraxium? Let me know. What's the specs on the new one? The new one coming next year, the GS, so they told me a lot more about it yesterday. It's going to have 96 volt, 40 amp hour option, so up voltage from this. So that's going to up the top speed a little bit. They say around 75 versus this is around 69. So it'll go up about 6 more miles an hour and claim top speed. And the range should go up a bit too from that, about 20% more or so by my math. The big things are going to change on the actual scooter. There's going to be carbon fiber steering poles. So both of these dual stems will be carbon fiber. And the deck's going to be carbon fiber. Also, both suspensions are going to get upgraded to air suspensions. So there's going to be quite a few changes on the new one. A bit more power and a bit more adjustability to the suspension and stuff. But it's going to be basically the same scooter, same frame, same design, and 12-inch tires. I think it's going to come stock with those. So it'll be slightly different and maybe a hair faster, a little bit more acceleration, a bit more range. But to me, it doesn't make this scooter obsolete at all. They're definitely going to keep selling both. And the reasoning being that the GS is going to cost about $4,000. So I think they're going to end up with like a $4,000 scooter, $3,300 scooter. The GT, which sits in between these two, is about $2,700-$2,800. So they have a little bit lower one if you want less power too. And then the Eco here, which is the single motor version, is $2K, $1,950 right now, but $2K normally. So that is like the low end model. So they do, in fact, are going to have 4 of these Marses once the GS gets released next year. And I think they're planning to keep all 4 in production. So I would let anybody know if that changes. But as of right now, this is kind of the most options you get from any brand that has this style of scooter. You can't go get that many options of a Cabo Wolf, right? They make 2, I think. There's like normal size and then there's the 10-inch one. So this is like quite a bit better in my opinion as far as options.
I'll show you guys the power this baby's got here in a little bit.
It started making it stop working. Yeah, sometimes there's a faulty component. It happens in scooters. And you end up getting the part, and then they're going to fix it. The new part will fix it. It's under warranty, so I told them I'm not working on it while it's under warranty. They probably wanted you to send it to my house, bro. Where are you located? New York City? See, the problem is it's going to cost $500 to ship that each way, so you should really just put the part in. It's not that hard to change just a motor. And honestly, if they do anything to help you, that's going above and beyond, because the warranty, I guarantee, just says that they're going to send parts. Almost no scooter warranty is going to pay for shipping the scooter anywhere. That's almost unheard of. What up, Fayuki? Something's going on with it. It just started you on it. Is that showing that on your screen?
No.
Does everybody still hear me? Something's glitching out on this.
Maybe go out and back in because that's the beginning.
I know. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, we're
still
back.
working, still working. Why should I have to take it apart if it's under a warranty? Because the warranty doesn't cover labor. It covers parts. That's why.
That is the warranty.
Typically, it never covers labor for any scooter. And that's just how it is. You're not going to find any scooter company that's going to cover your labor cost. And I get that is annoying, but the reason is that with a couple tools, you can change it yourself in like an hour. So it doesn't make any sense to ship things for 500 bucks across the country round trip when people can just fix it. And New York City, you should easily have like 5 scooter repair shops there that could do this for you. And that should only take literally 1 labor hour. Like if this was in my shop, literally I would charge 50 bucks to do the job. It'd take 1 hour and it'd be done. You'd have it back. So you can like argue about the best way to get it done or whatever, but that is what they've been doing for years, and that's just how it is. You know, I don't think that it's going to change if anybody complains. I think that that's just the only way to make it affordable, right? If you wanted that type of back and forth stuff, they would end up having to probably charge you a lot more on the front end, just to help cover costs, because that's all got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, that's crazy. Lugging it back and forth.
Yeah, and especially in New York City, bro, you should literally have like a couple options of scooter repair shops that should fix that. And that, if you don't, that's crazy, because I would fix it here. It's an easy job for anybody who has a couple tools. Tell them to do it themselves and learn like we had to. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree there is a learning curve to scooters, but trust me, it's not just scooters, it's all PEVs. And you get into something like a one wheel or EUC, it's 5 times worse trying to fix the thing. Trust me. Again, and the parts take way longer. At least for us, all the tires, the brake pads, everything like is cheap and on Amazon, and you can do all the maintenance yourself at home so quickly that in comparison, it's really easy compared to other personal electric vehicles. And it does pay off to learn it. If you learn it, it's going to be a skill you'll have for the rest of your life, and you'll be able to ride these forever without worrying about it. If I had a scooter with the bad motor, I'd take that wheel off, put new motor on, and new PMT and better brake pads. Exactly, man. If it's a 2-week-old scooter and something like that happens, you might as well just buy new tires and do both of them at the same time and just do the tire change, upgrade the scooter right now. Like, that's how you should really look at it. Use it as an opportunity to upgrade it, because you're gonna have to do a tire change anyways in the next 1,000 miles. Who's gonna do that? You know what I mean? Were you planning on sending it back for that? I don't know what your plan is. Like, you eventually have to do work on it, and there's no way around it. I guess they're not affiliated with them. They gave me no businesses in New York, just some random house out on Long Island. I don't know, man. I don't know the details of your case. We're gonna have to talk after this some more. I will ask Gspace about you. What's your order number? Put that in the chat, and then I will screenshot it and talk to them about your order. It's not weird at all. I also offer repairs here for Gspace people. If people want to ship it to me, but it's just really expensive, so we don't do it often. I think I've done 2, so it's not really worth it for anybody. It's a total waste of money. And yeah, it's something that, I mean, it's kind of part of owning a scooter. You need to read the warranty and realize that what's covered is parts typically, and that's it. And I don't know. It's different from a car where there's a dealership 10 miles up the road that can fix everything. You know, it's a completely different industry, so they can't just do that. Yeah, should we fire it up?
Yeah, show it off.
I don't know if we can while the inverter's going. Let's see. See if it works with both. It does work while the inverter's going. That's cool. So not only can we power the TV and the lights, but we can still run the scooter.
Wow.
All right, here goes gear 1 test. Yeah, can you get a little lower today too?
Yeah.
A little closer. So this scooter has 5 gears, 5 speed modes. Well, 6, I guess, because it has a 0. 0, nothing happens. Gear 1 is like a walking speed. It's about 5 miles an hour. Gear 2, 16 miles an hour. Gear 3. I'm going to step on it so it doesn't vibrate so much. 26. Gear 4. 36. Gear 5. 75. So it's fast enough that you end up getting really used to it in the top gear. That's how I ride it. I ride it only in gear 5, and you can basically go all speeds all the time. I know a lot of people will drop it down to lower speeds on like the bike path because obviously legal reasons, and that is a good idea. You can drop it down to say gear 3 back again, and you tops out at 25 miles an hour, which will be pretty much allowed in every bike path ever, and keep you in a lot safer riding zone. The full power though, you can control it. It's totally fine to just ride it maxed out all the time once you're used to it. It says 2,000 watt motors, which pretty standard these days. I think the Tevron, I mean the Huga and the Cabo GTR Max both have 2,000 watt. The battery on this, you want to look this way a little? We'll go over the specs quick for whoever asked that earlier and I forgot.
Oh, good.
The battery on this is a 45 amp hour battery. It comes with a 6 amp charger like this. So that charges the battery in about 8 or so hours. But this scooter battery is so huge that I've actually never drained it. I've only gotten this down to around 50%, even on the longest rides I've ever gone on. And so to charge it up from 50% doesn't take all that long, about 3 or 4 hours. So it's something that you have so much battery that the scooter will outlast you. It will make you tired. Unlike, riding a motorcycle and stuff where you're sitting down and it's really comfortable, there's a pretty aggressive sort of, I'd say it's not really a workout, but it is definitely something you feel in your legs. And especially when you're new, the back of your legs, your calves and everything are going to be extremely, extremely sore when you ride this. And so the first few days you get out there, you're not even going to be able to ride that far. Definitely not going to be killing the battery, I'll tell you that. You might make it 20 miles and be completely exhausted. So it's something that you got to build up your stamina to ride these things super far, and definitely your leg muscles. But even when you do, it's such a big range, you just never kill it. And that's an interesting point there with the Tevron. People ask me, like, do you need a 60 amp hour battery? And no, you don't. No normal person needs a 60 amp hour battery because you're never going to drain half of it. This is only 45 and I still never even drain half of it. So I think there is a sweet spot with batteries, and you want to get one that's the right size for your needs, because otherwise you just have a ton of extra battery that you paid for that you never use. So 60 amp hour is almost overkill for the majority of people. I think pretty much everyone. 45 is closer to the spot because you never get range anxiety with this, and you never really lose power because you're only using the top half of the battery. So you're getting max power, a lot of max power. Good? Let me check some comments here. Or was there any other questions? The Huga could use a 60 amp hour battery. Yeah, that scooter, for some reason earlier this year, I don't know if you guys thought this too, but I thought it was going to come out with 96 volt. I thought it was going to be a class up, but it's not. And they're charging it like it is, kind of. So I don't know exactly if the price is going to come way down on those eventually, but it seems a bit like a small battery for that, doesn't it? Is 72 volt 35 amp hour LG good? I would call that average at this point, and honestly, it's on the smaller side. Most scooters use a 40 amp hour, I feel like these days, and that's what makes this one a step up is the 45 because it's like 10% more range about than even the 40. So when you compare the 45 to the 35, that's like a third more. So that's a huge difference. And the price, if you're buying something with a 35 amp hour battery, the price should be a lot lower. It should be like 500 bucks lower than this. You know what I mean? Yeah, Daytona is better, but range sucks. 7260 has stability issues. I don't think the Daytona is better. The Daytona is still a C-type suspension, and they definitely screwed up and put a big metal spine right where your front foot is supposed to go. And that's so important on scooters to have your front foot as far forward and centered as you can because that eliminates a lot of the wobbliness itself. So on a scooter like that with C-type suspension and no front foot sort of spot, it's just going to ride wobblier than anything else that's equivalent. Like holding all else equal, it's going to be more wobbly. The King GT Pro gets good range too. It's all right. I have one. That's the Cabo I have in my garage that's broken down for the last year. And it got decent range. Yeah, it's not a range problem with that scooter. It's an electrical gremlin problem. I have Tevrin Fighter Supreme 7260 V4 and I will bought this Mars GTR. It's the perfect chase, maybe chassis. Yeah, I think it is the perfect frame, if that's what you're saying, the perfect chassis. And it all comes down to geometry and just learning from what motorcycles have already learned years ago, right? That one suspension is superior to the others. And so you use front forks if you're serious about going fast.
I think the Instagram live got messed up somehow. It looks weird.
You want to restart it?
Sure.
Yeah, you can get them for a good deal, especially if you get them used. Daytona is new. Yeah, exactly. Gspace has been around for a while. Yeah, I'd rather buy from an established company that's been doing it for a while than when you get a brand new scooter that's brand new, newly designed, there's always going to be some quirks to it that they're going to have to work out in different models and whatever. So, Scooter Daytona, it's very important weight over performance. It's not definitive, whatever. I don't know what you're saying exactly, bro, but weight matters. There's this thing called Bernoulli's principle, if you guys look it up, and it applies to all vehicles, but the faster or the more weight you have on the vehicle, the more contact you're going to have with the road on your tires, the bigger your contact patch, right? And so the more weight you have, the better grip you have. And this applies in cars too the same way. That's why they have wings in the back of sports cars that help with downforce, because downforce, such as being a heavier rider, gives you more traction. It makes your thing grip the road faster when you're taking off and have better acceleration. So there is like a reason these scooters are heavy, 130, 140 pounds, and I don't really care about that because I roll them in my garage and out, and I think most people that own these do. Obviously, if you have a small apartment or whatever, that's going to be your limiting factor. These are probably not an apartment scooter, unless you have a garage like me, right? But if, for a lot of you in New York City, whatever, I get it. This is the biggest, baddest scooter you can get, especially the frame-wise. It's thick, it's heavy, it's overbuilt, and that's what I prefer, though. I prefer something that's clearly strong versus something that looks like it was designed to be strong and may not be, if that even makes sense. But In Motion Jet, yeah, that was a weird one. I don't even know what to think of that scooter. It's like just a copycat RS Lite, right? That they just want to sell through Voro. The whole thing with In Motion and Voro last year got weird. Is the dual stem what helps create natural stability? Can any single stem scooter compete with the dual stem concept, performance handling wise? So, no, I don't think so. And the reason being that the front forks are the secret sauce. And the front forks, there you do see a lot of scooters where they stop right here and then a single stem comes up and they still have front forks, but it's not a solid piece. And the clamps on those are all generic, most of them generic rebrand scooters. They still have a lot of flimsiness to them. So you're not getting the full effect of the solidness of the front forks with those just because they're not. This is so strong that when I pull on it, like it literally doesn't move at all. It's so sturdy that you will never like even worry about it. And I mentioned this yesterday that the only two that I've seen break were in accidents this year, like major accidents where, they totaled a car pretty much, but the scooter snapped in half, but the car is totaled too. So if a car pulls out and you hit them going fast enough, there's gonna be a lot of damage, but that's about like the worst case scenario, and that's not gonna happen to most of you, hopefully. But just from normal riding, no, they don't fall apart. The frame is overbuilt to where it's not just gonna snap in half like a lot of other scooters have. When Nami came out, it had a problem like that. It's been redesigned several times now, beefed up around different parts of the frame, new parts for the steering column, all of that, right? Cabo, the same way. When it came out, there was some that were snapping in half because the folding mechanism was just terrible. And it's funny, you look at the new one, I think the GTR Max, look at the new folding handle or folding mechanism they got and see where they copied that from. You know, they figured out that it's not good how it was originally and changed it.
So the Instagram live stops. I restarted it.
Okay.
We're back. There's more people.
Welcome back, Instagram. Good to see you. What's your opinion on Vora Motors? I used to like Vora Motors. I promoted them once, maybe 4 years ago. They sent me an E-Move touring. The scooter was junk though, and like had screws falling out of it, and I didn't really want to deal with working with a company that was just like selling weak scooters like that. So I didn't talk to them for years. And maybe last year, I think I needed a motor for this Cabo I was talking about that's broken down. So I ordered a motor from them, and they sent me the wrong motor. They're supposed to send me a 2,000 watt motor. They sent me a 1,500 watt motor. And not only that was it the wrong motor, but it was used. It had all sorts of scrape marks and stuff on it, like somebody just took it off a scooter or something, right? It was not a new motor, which is what I paid for. So I got in an argument with them over that with their customer service guy or whatever. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to deal with any company that's going to argue about something like that and that's clearly their fault. And, that's the kind of reflects all through your brand when your customer service people are argumentative. So, of course, a customer is allowed to be argumentative. We're allowed to be mad when something happens or we get the wrong thing, right? That's totally within your right to be a little bit peeved off. So, it should be their job to handle it correctly, right? As the customer service person, and I think that's kind of where me and them went separate ways. And I haven't talked to them in like a year since that happened. And I'm trying not to order anything from them if I don't have to,
That is crazy. Vora Motors do better.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not a bad company. I think they're just overworked. They blew up a little fast, and from my understanding, they just have a backlog of customer service stuff, and it's really hard to train people to know about scooters. It takes a long time to learn all about scooters to the point where you can be a sufficient person on the other end of a customer service call. You know what I mean? Like you can't just hire somebody from McDonald's and say, "Hey, try and fix scooters over the phone." Like that, it would never work out. So it takes time. It takes years to build a good team of people that can literally respond to customers and actually help. So it's not even totally all their fault. It's sort of a victim of their own success type of thing where they blew up really fast. And this was all during the pandemic, right? They were probably the number one retailer for several years now. They could still be, I don't really know. But I do think the market's moving away from retailers in general. It's moving to direct to consumer. And that's what this is, where you're buying the scooter directly from Gspace. They're going to have great customer service for you. What do we need a middleman for? What do we need a retailer for in that scenario? You really don't. And the only real person would be like, lost your name, the guy with the issue earlier with his motor who doesn't want to do the work, right? He could take it into repair shop if you live near Vora Motors and they would fix it. right? That's like the only thing you're really paying for if you add that extra layer of a retailer, is that they're going to fix it, right? And I do think next year there's going to be several shops popping up that are going to be selling these Gspaces and offering repairs and doing all that. It is just in the early stages for this scooter still. Really, the scooter's been here for like a year in the US, maybe year and a half total. And it's been invented for about 4 or 5 years, but they're not rushing it like a lot of other brands are. I feel like they're taking their time. Kang is very, good at what he does. I think that taking the feedback and constantly improving it like behind the scenes is the best way to run a business like this. So, you guys got any other questions here? I heard you call the suspension the telelever before. Is that due to the wishbone design and the forks guiding it? Yes. So the telelever Pythagoras is down here. And the reason it's called a telelever is because that was actually patented by BMW in the 70s. So if you know if you know how patents work, basically when you make a patent, I think you get 20 years to have the rights to the invention. So since the rights are already up to that, now anybody can make the BMW telelever suspension, put it on their bike or whatever. And it is an iconic suspension where it's the first suspension they've come up with that separates the steering from the actual suspension of it on, and still lets you use front forks. So it's not only the most stable, but it is the most in control, and you really notice it in corners is when I notice it. When you're in a hard corner and you hit a bump, that it just eats it right up. There's no sort of deviation off your path. So it just keeps going exactly how you want, and there's no wobbles, no nothing to it. And to me, that's what really stands out when you ride this thing is the weight keeps it really stuck to the ground. The suspension keeps it in like a perfect line wherever you're trying to go, if that makes sense. But definitely look it up. Just look up BMW telelever. I'm not an expert on it. I just looked up stuff on it too, like when I got the scooter a year ago, and sort of know a little bit about it. But if you look up more videos, somebody more experienced with like motorcycles could teach you a lot more about why it's better. Have I been to their facility in China yet? 808 Freedom. I'm planning it next year. I think the move is to go to China and visit the Gspace factory and maybe a couple other ones. We'll see exactly, but mainly Gspace. That's the main reason I want to go, is to not only tour the factory, but meet everyone involved with them. And then we're going to try and get the GS and go along the coast of China, me and Jordan, if everything works out as I hope, and ride the scooter in some really cool places down there in Florida. Hopefully around May. That's when they said they might want to do it. But as far as if it's going to happen, I think it's definitely going to happen because I've already been talking to Gspace. We talked about it a month or so ago about some details of it. So it's more of a matter of timing, just figuring out the best time for us to go and saving up a little money for, plane ticket, whatever. It's close enough these days with planes. I think it's a 12-hour flight or something, maybe a little longer. I don't know, but I think we'll be able to fit that all in next year and go meet Kang, meet Fish, meet all these people, and go riding with them even somewhere. So yeah, I'm excited to tour. I've never been to China, and it's probably the coolest place in the world to me right now. So I'm pumped for that. I will definitely be making that happen if I can. It's on my list. Dealing with Voro is a headache. Yeah, honestly, dealing with any scooter issue is a headache usually. It sucks. That's why you just want to buy a quality scooter from the get-go, to be honest. If you buy a cheap scooter, you're going to be dealing with just headaches all the time. Gary, I live in a mid-upper scale area where adults and their kids love their toys. I would love to sell these scooters out of my garage to the neighborhoods. I just don't know how to work on them. Yeah, I think working on them is not as hard as you think. And if you go on my YouTube channel, I already have videos for how to do tire changes, brake jobs, brake bleeding, like the basic stuff that you would need to do. Anything else, is usually handled by the customer. And that's something that, you know, it makes it really hard to be a scooter retailer these days because if you take over that job, then you're going to have to do all you're going to like have to help the customer. And so if you don't have that knowledge, it makes it hard to be a good retailer. So it's almost something where you got to learn everything first, figure out the market, figure out how scooters work and everything even, and then you can, you know, take it to that next level where you're going to start selling scooters. That's what I would suggest. I even had a guy ask me today about drop shipping. He's asking about drop shipping scooters and like if that would be a good idea. And my general opinion is probably not because you're going to end up having to deal with customer service. And do you actually know what you're talking about? That's the big question. You know, like these are very complicated machines to somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about, but to somebody that knows what they're looking at, they're not complicated at all. So it really comes down to if you know enough to be able to be a scooter retailer. You know, anybody can make a few bucks, but can you stay in business and have sustained business because your customers come back because they like what you did and they like how you handled everything? You know, there's a lot of different aspects and hidden fees and even the shipping. Gspace told me this year they lost about 10 packages to FedEx, which is crazy. 10 scooters go missing while they're on the way to you. Obviously, they reimburse people, get a new one sent to you, and have to deal with FedEx themselves. But that is just like such a nightmare if you're a scooter retailer and you're trying to ship these across the country and they go missing and you have to deal with just losing money due to incompetent shipping people. You know, it's like not your fault at all. So there's all these other hidden risks that you got to think about before you just go buy the scooters and sell them out of your garage. You know, it's not the best move, I think, to go in blindly because there's still some risk to it. You talked to him about going to China to visit the factory and get some filming done. Nice, dude. Pythagoras, I will see you there. I think next year is gonna be awesome. I think Jordan's gonna be mind blown too.
Yeah.
Probably just as much as me.
I've bucket list goals to go to China.
Nobody there speaks English. I think quite a few people there speak English, from my understanding. That's like the second main language.
Chinese.
Hopefully, if not, I'm gonna have to learn some Mandarin, right, Mister Mister Spoogelspore? I've been building scooters of all kinds from the bottom up for years. Where did it come and go? I've thought. Where did it go? Your comment disappeared. Sorry, it glitched.
Someone asked about this seat, and it is super soft, super comfortable.
It is. I love riding that thing.
It's so nice.
Let's see. I've been building scooters of all kinds from the bottom up for years. I've thought of fixing them up in my area. It's tedious work though. I would focus on tire changes first. And once you get good at tire changes, worry about other stuff. But strictly just do tire changes first. Charge based upon how long it's going to take you. Usually it takes me about an hour, right? So I charge whatever you think your hour's worth. And people will come. They will need tire changes, and that is the most basic thing. And it's easy and fast. Once you get good at it, it's not hard at all. You can pretty much do it just automatic without thinking. So, and that goes for all the brands. I can pretty much change any scooter tire right now on the market without even thinking about it if you just get enough practice in. So start with that. That'll be your main moneymaker is tires. Brakes and stuff is a little more rare because most of the time people can just handle that themselves at home. It's very simple. But the tire changes are the hardest. Electronic stuff, I would almost avoid messing with most of that at the beginning until you're familiar with taking wheels off and stuff because it just gets a little more complicated from there. And there's a lot more thinking about stuff on how to diagnose certain things. So tires are easy to diagnose. If it's flat, right? It's pretty obvious. But when the controller or the motor goes out or the hall sensor, it's a little more work to try and figure out what exactly you need to replace. And sometimes it's even like a guessing game where you got to buy this part, see if it fixes it. You know, there's no manuals for this. There's no like step-by-step guides. But if you're smart enough, you can figure it all out. It's not like it's rocket science at all. It's just a scooter. Collaborate with Saronster, man. That would be epic. I don't think he rides hyper scooters though. I seen him on a Weeped a year ago. It was the last time I seen him on a scooter, and he's just scared of them. They're too wobbly for him, I think. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to see him try a scooter now like this. I think this is like actually a really good scooter. He could enjoy riding. It's not wobbly at all and super fast. So I'd love to see him hit a scooter ride.
Your Instagram live, it just keeps glitching out. Do you want me to like go to TikTok?
Sure. Shane, I got you. I would unbox it. And the reason I would unbox it is because you want to see if there's any shipping damage right away. And so does Gspace. If there's any sort of problem with something gets bent or scratched or whatever, you want to alert them as soon as you get it. I feel like you might have 15 days or something usually. That's what brands do. They give you a little time. But they want to know up front so then they can get you the part right away. As opposed to if you wait to open it till next year, you might not know for 6 months and then it's a little bit more of a gray area, right? Like, is this guy trying to scam me for whatever type of thing? But if it's out of the box and there's something wrong with it at all, you get a new part sent out. And we were having this discussion earlier, like if something happens and it's under warranty, are they going to take the scooter back and give you a new one? No, they're not. And that's no scooter brands do that. They're going to send you a part. They're going to explain to you how to fix it with the video or help in some way or with somewhere to send it, somewhere to take your scooter to locally, depending on where you live. But in general, it's something where you're going to need some tools and replace the part yourself. Most of the scooter is not hard to replace. If you have a set of Allen keys and a 21 millimeter socket, that's literally going to do the majority of the work on this scooter. So it's really not hard. Anything else is just going to speed it up, like having power drills and whatever, like I use. But you don't need that. You could probably use a $50 worth of tools and do everything on this whole scooter yourself if you just, sit down and have some patience with it. You never built a scooter with the seat though. Man, you got to try it. I think that it's epic. And I saw one online, all right. Some guy took their Gspace and chopped the bars off right here and put the handlebars down here even lower and then made a custom little seat that went all the way across like this. And it is like an even smaller mini bike. And this dude has the GTR. So he's going 70 miles an hour on the thing that's like this, right? So you could make a super mini bike if you want. This is like the mini bike. That's like the micro bike if you go even smaller. So yeah, I've seen people chop the handlebars and go even shorter on this. Talk about scooter laws. I had a cop keep bothering me in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and the other cops left me alone. He was the only one. That cop was having a bad day. Happens for everybody. I think in general, cops don't care about anything scooters do as long as you're not being dangerous right in front of them or in general, or they're getting calls about you or whatever. You just need to be not being a menace to society and they're not going to care. Obviously, that depends what country you're in. If you're in the UK, good luck. They are coming after all of you for no reason. But in general, the rest of the world seems to be pretty open to riding electric scooters. And yeah, I don't have any problems here. I think the more you ride in your area, the less problems you'll have because they'll see you more often. They'll see you all the time and they'll get to know that, oh, it's just that guy who rides a scooter again, right? And they're not going to bother you. They don't have time for that. Most cops literally don't have time for that unless they're having a bad day and they want to take it out on somebody, which they're humans. It happens to everybody, right? Some people have a bad day. Everybody does. And, you just get a little mad and that could end up being a ticket for somebody if you're in a cop's position. It's just kind of how it is, sadly. You just ride in the next city over. Yeah, sometimes it's be like that because even here we have 3 cities right next to each other or whatever. And if I ever had an issue in one, I'd probably just stop riding there and only ride in the other two type of thing. But in general, I feel like most places are getting really, really familiar and friendly with electric stuff. Yeah, he was having a bad day. Battery wise, Shane, back to your question. Battery wise, do I charge it fully or not? Gspace is saying fully charged, then store. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Gspace is saying that at all. I don't know where you saw that, but the typically you want it at 40 to 60%. You don't want to fully charge it in store at all. That must be some kind of typo if you're seeing that on their website. Crazy. SPRZ, you got your scooter order in at 5 p.m. yesterday, and now it's already being delivered on Wednesday. Awesome. That's like 3-day shipping. Very nice. I can't wait to see all you guys get these new scooters in. Where do you get the foot notches attached there? These come with the seat kit. They flip in for better storage. And then they have a support that screws in sideways in the scooter here so that they're not going to bend and you can stand right on them. They come with the seat kit. The seat kit right now you can get on sale. You get $50 off if you use Scootagang 50. That's the code. And should be around 300 then. I think it's 350 normally, give or take. But yeah, that all comes with the seat attachments. You have a bag with every tool you need for your scooter in it. Same. I don't carry tools with me anymore, but I even used to carry tools while I was out riding sometimes back in the day, just in case something happened. You know, you want to have an Allen wrench to tighten stuff up or whatever. You never know what's going to happen on some of these scooters. That was on like obviously like way cheaper scooters that just the bolts would loosen out all the time and stuff. This, I haven't had any bolts come out, and I think in general the scooter has been extremely solid feeling, even though the mileage I have on it is crazy. About 3,000 miles this year on this one and 850 on this one. And they both still ride basically like new at this point. I've only done 2 tire changes and 2 brake jobs, maybe 3 brake jobs at this point, but brake jobs meaning brake pads. That takes maybe 15 minutes to do brake pads. Tire change takes about an hour per tire. So you're looking at a couple of hours of maintenance over the year, but it's not a lot, especially, you know, if you buy the stuff ahead, that's the best way to do it. Buy your tires, your brake pads, have them there for that day when you do need it, and then you'll have it fixed right away as opposed to waiting on parts. I'm glad cops aren't bothering you yet, 808. Yeah, no problem, Gary, anytime. Dang, there's still 21 people in here. What's up, dudes? Hope everyone's having a great day. Happy Monday, Cyber Monday. This is going to be it for the deal, guys. If you want this scooter, it's today only. It's the last day, the only day, 24 hours, flash sale, whatever you want to call it. And then it's going to go back up. It'll be $32.99, I believe, for the remainder of the year. I think in the spring, who knows, they may do another flash sale, or they're considering one for Christmas too, but we'll see. But as of right now, this is the best deal. Those won't be nearly the same deal as this. They'll probably be around 32 or something, 31. But $29.99 is this is the ultimate deal that you can get on this, the ultimate scooter. We're still pushing out 128 watts on our inverter here. It's cool how you can watch the amounts and stuff. It has a cool gauge, so it's one of the coolest accessories. I never thought I would use it till today, even when I needed it, just because the electricity went out from the blizzard. So a lot of stuff like that. They're coming out with just cool upgrades. They messaged you, Shane? Good. Thank you, Shane. I'm glad you like the content. If you guys do me a favor, all you guys in here, go follow Jordan Moves really quick. She's been killing it on the camera these last 2 days. By the way, I'm going to split all the commission with her 50-50. She's earned it on these live streams here. So, yeah. I didn't know if I mentioned this yet, but the only reason this deal is happening is because we sacrificed a little bit of our commission in order to convince the Gspace to lower the price some more. Because Black Friday this year was kind of a disappointment. If you didn't notice, a lot of the deals were just really weak, and a lot of different brands were offering stuff with accessory bundles and stuff. And I know most of you don't really care about that. You just want the best deal. So this is what I was trying to do, is just get you the best deal you could and hook all you guys up to get a good scooter. I know it's the end of the year, and most of you won't be able to ride it until the spring, but it's a good investment. You're putting your money into one of the best scooters on the market for sure. And even next year, it's still going to be one of the best scooters for sure. So you're going to have a great year riding this thing. I'm excited for all of you guys. Oh, they message you about the battery charging. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I wouldn't go with that. I would go with 40 to 60%. I usually leave mine at 72 volts for anybody. If you have this same scooter, that's what I would shoot for. Just go 72 volts and it'll last all winter long just fine. You do want to check it. You could check it once a month, but it's probably not going to drop any. If it does happen to, just top it off back to 72. Keep it around there. Gary, you're in Myrtle Beach. That's funny. We were in Myrtle Beach earlier this year, and they that's an interesting place, but we got into a road rage incident, and Jordan almost got run over, and I almost had to beat this guy up almost, and then we ended up just kind of dipping out and calling the police on him because it was so crazy, the clip, and we showed the police the clip, and the police was like, "All right, I'm gonna go deal with this guy or whatever." I don't know whatever happened to the guy, but basically, it's like crazy road rage down there. They're crazy in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, he tried to run me off the road, and the cop, said sorry that happens, but just like speed up, take off in case he's strapped.
Yeah, the cop was worried about us getting shot or something. That was crazy. But yeah, Myrtle Beach is fun. You need more chicks in yoga pants? I think I got one of those. Oh, Nova's back. Yeah. All right, guys. There's about 18 people in here. Is that with every scooter battery? Yes. That's with all lithium batteries that you want to generally charge them at about half. Yeah, the RS Lite, same way. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, Gary, my goal is in the next year or two to sell my condo here and move down to Florida. I think that that's where a big opportunity is for these scooters and for repairs, especially. So I'm going to open up a repair shop somewhere down there. I think Iowa is a great place, but it really hurts me every winter when there's a 3 4 month just break where I can't really ride. There's nobody on the bike path to, make clips with. That's a lot of the best clips I make are meeting random people out there in the wild. And if there's nobody out there because it's so cold, then it's just like I'm riding by myself, and that's boring. It's nobody wants to watch that, and yeah, I think there's just a lot more opportunity for me in Florida. So that's kind of where my next stage I think is going to be with this, and I do want to open up a shop down there. But I think it's gonna be more like it's gonna be hyper focused on repairs, as opposed to a sales focused scooter store. It's gonna be more like I'll fix any scooter in the whole state, bring it by, and we happen to sell two or three of the best scooters on the market as well. But that's not our main thing. Our main thing is fixing everything, and I think that the repair business is gonna be huge on scooters moving forward through my lifetime. Have a good one, Scooter USA.
Yeah,
Thanks for stopping by.
yeah, have a good Scooter USA.
How many volts is the GS
So
running?
cute
It's
on
going
the
to
side.
run 96 volts. I'm really pumped for that. They're saying it's going to be released in around May. And they actually have one they've been riding. They post about it if you go in the Facebook group. They post about it every so often. They tell us how many miles it's at and like what some videos of what they're doing that day. Like they've done off-road tests, like all kinds of different tests. And I think their test unit's up around like 1,000 kilometers already. So they've been riding it. It's pretty much done. They're just waiting for to do a good release on it. It's gonna be next year. I'm gonna try and get mine by March and do all the testing on it and ride my own a good 1,000 miles and then make a video around May or so when it actually releases. That's what I'm gonna shoot for. So I will have some early content on that, I'm hoping, and give you guys a good ideas of what's going on with it. But that's gonna be a very nice scooter. It's gonna be about 1,000 more bucks than this though. So if you got more money, you may want to wait for that. But if 3K is your number, This is the scooter you can get. This is the best scooter you can get for 3K, guaranteed on the market. I don't think there's anything even close. You'd have to pay like several thousand more to get something that's significantly better than this. John, you don't have a scooter yet? Well, you should get one, bro. You'll get one. Enjoying the stream. Hopefully we can ride together one day. You're in Lincoln. You're in Lincoln too? Bro, there's this guy, Josh McAppleby. You should hit him up. He's a cool guy. Maybe you know him because it is a pretty small scene over there. But we'll be back in Omaha next year for another group ride. I have a feeling it's a nice spot and nice people there. I love you guys in Omaha. Shout out to Omaha crew, all juice no breaks, all you guys. It was a sweet ride. We went over there for a group ride, and yeah, make sure you come to the next one. It was awesome. I'd be a lot happier doing that in Hawaii. Yeah, that's what my dad says. My dad says that I should just do this all in Hawaii, but as you guys may know already, Vora Motors had a scooter shop in Hawaii, and rumor on the street, this is unconfirmed rumor, my opinion, whatever, is that allegedly that they were having problems with the law where they weren't they weren't liked very much, that they were selling these super fast scooters and they were creating problems or something, and that's about all I really know. Somebody was telling me about it literally yesterday, and earlier today actually, I think. But yeah, I don't know about Hawaii just because it's not, mainland US. You can get away with a lot because it's so much open space, and Hawaii is just the opposite of that, where it's every inch is $1 million, and people are probably really, really, really about the rules and stuff. Whereas in Iowa, literally here nobody cares. Florida is almost the same way, where as long as you're not creating a scene or have a massive group, then they're not going to mess with you either. It's basically free, and we rode all over that state. So
Yeah, riding in Hawaii would be awesome if you're going nice and slow, but on the island, everyone goes at a slower pace, and so you can't really zip around
yeah,
60 miles per hour. You
this is
be
almost
around
be overkill
60 an hour.
for the island in a
Definitely.
lot of cases.
Yeah.
Like as far as I know, the fastest road on the island's like 35 miles an hour. So like you can't even go 65 like this goes. So I don't know. It's an interesting place to live and think about doing a business there, but I don't know if that will ever happen. That's a pipe dream. Florida is realistic to me, where I could definitely sell out of Iowa here and move this down to Florida pretty easily, and resume business as usual almost there. Okay, you can go. Jordan's going to take a quick break. I think we're going to wrap this up, guys, actually, here. I don't know what time I started at, but it's almost 5. So I think we're about an hour and 45 minutes in. I'll answer like 1 or 2 more questions if you want. Gary, what type of trade school would you say one would benefit from to apply in the scooter e-bike world? That's a great question, Gary. And I think that if you would want to either get into just being an auto mechanic or a motorcycle mechanic, even either of those would teach you a ton about changing tires, because I actually learned a lot of my tire change tips from actual car mechanics about seating the bead, about, everything. Basically, you watch car people have been doing this forever. Same with motorcycle people, and they really have a lot more knowledge. Dirt bike people, like tire changes and stuff have been around forever, and it's something you can really just teach yourself in a day if you sit there and practice it. And it's not it's not rocket science at all. It's something you almost don't even need trade school for this type of thing, I think. But that would be the one I would go for, is like some type of auto mechanic or motorcycle mechanic. You could get more fancy with it and go to like, engineering school, electrical engineering or something. But you don't need that to be able to fix anything. Basically, everything that would be more to like build your own scooter. You watch the Tail of the Dragon video for motivation to go haul it. Yeah, dude. You got to come through next year. So everybody with the Gspace is invited. Next year, we're going to do a Tail of the Dragon meetup. If you guys don't know, that's this place right here. It's in North Carolina, Tennessee, right on the border. It is epic. It's like the one road in the U.S. that they've turned into a racetrack. And It's 318 curves in about 11 miles, and so you're just constantly turning like super crazy sharp turns, and the road is really nice. It's painted up beautifully, and there's supercars everywhere on it. It's just like endless sports cars back to back to back, and then us riding the scooters. So I think it's going to be sweet. We sort of scoped it out last year, and if you guys know, the video is pinned on my YouTube channel. If you guys don't know, you can go watch it. But basically, I think we're going to get a group, 10, 20, whatever people of G Spaces in next year and go up the tail and come back down it same way that we did before. Maybe make a few runs on it over a couple days, make it like a nice little event, like a weekend thing. But I think it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait for that. And you're all invited. So you didn't think they supply enough service, and also very bad service. Yeah, service is the downfall of a lot of these scooter companies because they can't provide good service. So that's where I'm really happy with Gspace, man. There's been very, very few people with issues, and they pretty much all get handled immediately, you know? All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up here. Thank you to the 17 of you that have stuck it out. Come hang out for the live stream. I appreciate all of your nice comments and great questions. And hopefully everybody this year got their scooter ordered and get your Gspace on the way. I know a few of you already have your tracking numbers, it sounds like, from yesterday. So that's great. Let's go. I'm excited. This is awesome. I'm going to do more flash sales whenever we can convince Gspace to do it again because I think it's good for everybody and hooks you guys up a little more than normal. And definitely keep an eye on the channel. We'll have more announcements about that maybe in about, I guess it's already December 1st now, so maybe in about, 3 weeks we can do another one here for Christmas. And like I said, it won't be quite as good as this deal, so if you want the super deal now, get this, but otherwise it should still be a good deal and make everybody happy. So thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. That was super
Scootagang.
fun.
You're good. Ugh, shaky.